Hello, everybody. I was wanting to share something that I found was really exciting recently. And I have some students who've been talking just about how people are terrified that they're not going to be able to go to like McDonald's and bad cinemas and things like this. And recently, Russell Brand, who you may know of, gave a transmission about the amount of people in the United States who are just leaving their jobs, millions, and not with a backup plan, just knowing that something's got to change. And I wanted to share that with you because there's a natural law about everything. There's a perfection with everything that's happening if we choose to look more optimistically. And I think that a lot of people are very pummeled and despondent by situations that they often don't see that there could be a happy side to all of this. And I'm going to give an example of one of my students who's been studying with me all year and recently has been given a kind of ultimatum that will happen as a procedure probably in March. But it just so happens that the training that she's doing with our organisation and where we're upskilling to, we're going to need more people in paid roles and things like that, and we want to train people up, and we're going to need more practitioners. And so the universe has given her a beautiful migration because she's already starting to dip her toe into where she really needs to be, not in the job that isn't really who she is. And I'm really wanting to encourage people to look at, do you actually like your job? Do you like, is it making the most out of your life? Are you following your heart? Are you following your highest purpose? Do you have any sense of agency or sovereignty over the decisions you make in your workplace and things like that? And actually, you see, some of what's happening is actually this natural process that is letting people just think, actually, I could just go over here. And I know it's daunting, but part of the procedure with the way COVID has been working, the divine intelligence of it has been to try to help people to look inside and look at who they really are. And as I'm making this, people in Europe are terrified because it looks like they're going to have another phase of lockdowns. But the way I'm looking at it is a lot of people hadn't had the chance to go inner, and a lot of people didn't really choose to do that in the first two years, well, a year and a half of lockdowns. And now it's coming for them again, and all these other possibilities that they might have to migrate in their life. And I want to just end on one thing. There's always a space for everybody and everything. There is a naturally occurring fractal code that means that we all feel exiled in some ways. And it came up for me the other day, and it's very up for people feeling like we're being pushed out of our place or getting our hopes up to be somewhere, and then that doesn't happen. And this goes very deep. And this is something that we're collectively having to look at. So a lot of people are now being presented with the fact that they might be ejected from the jobs that aren't actually really, maybe for some of them, what's their best thing that might be most enriching for them in this life. And I'm not trying to generalize and say that's everybody. I think a lot of people have truly found their vocation in life, but I want to just put that slant on it, that actually maybe the door's opening because there's somewhere better to go. And I've certainly learned over the years that often when I'm kicking my heels in and I don't feel in control and the rug has been pulled from under my feet, I can be really pissed off for a day or two. And then suddenly I see, oh, actually, there's a more intelligent plan that's actually a better option than I could have thought of. And I really need to remember that there is a divine plan. And so this is a very interesting time if we choose to see it that way, because actually, maybe a lot of people could just do their dream job. And I know that the money story kicks in for a lot of people, and this is something we have to heal, our whole attachment to material things. I'm sitting here in a developing country and people don't have any health care and they can't afford to get sick. And you know what? They've not got COVID here. They just can't really have it. And nobody's wearing masks or anything. I'm in Guatemala. And they wear them in the odd place, but it's just not being enforced. They can't afford to do it. And therefore, if you've got the opportunity to actually have a few more weeks doing retreat and looking at who you really are coming up, see this is the most beautiful gift that some people don't have to do. I'm speaking to a young lady, and she's got a disability and she won't marry or hasn't married yet. She doesn't think she will, and she has to look after her elderly mother, and they've got no medicine. And this is she has to work, and there's no people here really to buy stuff off these people. So really have to think about, it might be a bit difficult, but it's actually these frustrating moments where growth is created, and we're coming into another peak time of that. We're actually in a lot of the astrology at the end of December. There's going to be a new frequency of growth and perspective that we don't see right now. And that's why things can feel very challenging, because we're at the end of a phase. So Jupiter's going to come into a new phase in Western astrology at the beginning or at the end of around the 29th of December. And so things will take a different flavour from them then. So we're at the end of something and people are feeling quite constrained. And if you can just realise, actually, there's an opportunity to jump into something that's more dynamic and more future thinking than I ever thought, that's coming. And I finally want to say, there are many meetings going on in Mexico and other places where a lot of people are going because they've decided they don't want to be in the old system. And there are many shakers and movers coming together who are not affiliated with the big institutions, but who have the brains and the collectivity of thought to think, right, we are going to make a better time for humankind and for all beings. And that is seriously in motion. So I just want you to know, we're sitting in meetings and these things. There are many people organising this stuff. And so if you are feeling like, oh, actually, I would just love to go to something different, make yourself available. The universe will find the right people for you. That's what's lining up. So you're looking like you don't have a space. Anytime you're looking like you're backed up against a wall and you don't have a space, it's because it's a different space you're supposed to go to. That's how it all works. So maybe have a look around. When we're in these dark nights of the soul, we often are very stuck, and we sit for a while not knowing, not seeing the wood for the trees, and then suddenly the solution becomes clearer. But you have to let yourself know that you can do that. And so maybe old avenues are closing because new superhighways are opening. So just maybe keep your eyes open and remember, being optimistic can really make a difference in how the sense of perspective and how your reality shapes. Take care. Ciao, ciao.